Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. Play. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. Play. And that's the way I want to start this podcast, for the simple fact that I'm no longer on the sidelines. I'm no longer on the bench. I'm in the game. And the game is basically talking about a very sensitive topic in the United States as well as the world. We're talking about transgender people. Let me go ahead and say this, and I don't want anyone to misconstrue this conversation to be hate speech or coming down or talking bad about people who are transitioned or planning on transitioning or they're transgendered. It's not about that. What it's about is a Texas dad desperately battles to keep his 7-year-old child from undergoing a gender transition championed by the biological male's mother. And this has captured the attention of the world. It's definitely here in the United States, but the world. Jeff Younger petitioned the court earlier this month for sole custody of his twins, James and Jude, in the effort to prevent their mother, Dr. Georgulas, however you want to say her name, is a crazy name, from allowing James to begin hormone replacement therapy. The crazy thing is, and I do mean that, a judge has actually said, well, I don't think it's actually fully gone to the mother, but it looks like it's leaning that they're going to favor for the mother, who then plans through recommendations to have psychologic assessments done for gender dysphoria and potentially take hormone blockers. Now, this was reported by the Washington Examiner. I'm not going to say it's every father's nightmare, because it's not. Some fathers are very open-minded. But you have alpha male type personalities like myself that they have a son, they want their son to do son things. And as bad as it may sound, we don't want our children to be gay, whether male or female. But here's the thing. When we do find out, this is what separates a good parent from a bad parent. We do find out is how we handle the situation and how we treat our children. You don't treat them any differently. You respect where they're coming from, and you love them regardless, unconditionally. Now, more than half of transgender males who participated in a survey reported that they attempted suicide in their lifetime, while 29.9% of transgendered females said, female teens that is, said they attempted suicide as well. Among non-binary, 41.8% respondents stated that they attempted suicide at some point in their lives. I'm pretty sure there is a percentage of the population, straight if you want to say that, cis, I'll use that term, that have attempted suicide, because let's be real. Teenage years are hard years. Early adult years are hard years, and there are a lot of times that people cannot handle it, let alone to have something that you can say is a distractor or an identifier that singles you out, such as being gay or transgendered. Now, this is my own personal belief. I think the modern person, the young person, if you want to call millennials, whoever, are a little bit softer than what we used to be back in the day. I was never one to back down from a fight. If you stepped up to me, we're going to throw. Win or loss, we're going to throw. I'll be honest with you, if I know I can't beat you, probably going to bust you in the head when you're not looking with a break. Because bottom line, I'm not going to let you get the best of me. I've never taken the bullies. And even if there was a situation where I knew I couldn't win, I went and got my cousin. I knew my cousin would win. Because I wasn't backing down. I got backup. Now, is that the most manly thing to do? Nah, but it's smart. It's real smart. Especially when, well, I won't get into that. But bottom line is, a lot of people now will choose the easy way out. And theoretically, killing yourself is not easy. To pull the trigger, to take a certain amount of pills, to cut your wrist, those are gangster ways of dying. They're just straight up gangster ways of dying. So it's not easy, but it's kind of an easy escape, if that makes sense. Many transgender young people experience family rejection, bullying, harassment, or feel unsafe for the simple fact of who they are, all to which are added risk factors for suicide. Like I stated earlier, there's a lot of things within being a teenager, within itself, with this added stress. Now, data from 2015, the United States Youth Risk Behavior Survey revealed that 8.6 of adolescents report attempting suicide in the past year, and 14.6 report having made a plan to attempt suicide. Comparatively, studies have revealed nearly 25% to 30% of transgender adolescents report attempting suicide during their lifetime. Furthermore, findings from the 2000 2008 National Transgender Discrimination Study revealed that 45% of 18 to 24-year-olds transgender people had attempted suicide in their lifetime. Other studies reveal that 28% to 52% of transgender people have attempted suicide. So what am I saying? If the mother is given the ability to make the decision for a 7-year-old to start transitioning, not only is she creating a potential risk of suicide in the future, she's also robbing that 7-year-old of its own ability to make a decision whether, hey, maybe he's gay or maybe he is a female in a male's body. But you're robbing that child of that decision. I mean, that's why we're here as parents. Children aren't able to smoke, drink, drive, consult to sex, feel to mention to vote. So if they're too young for all of that, for example, to drink, you got to be 21. So what makes you think that a 7-year-old is mature enough to make a decision about their gender? Now, ultimately, this is not about gender identity. It's about choices. It is about choices. And if you're making choices for a 7-year-old on whether they're going to be male or female, you're ultimately doing a disservice to that child. I, as a parent, can't say that I make every decision for my child correctly. And I often find myself that there's a decision that I probably shouldn't have made or something I shouldn't have said because it has cause and effect. Because I have changed a behavior in this child. And the point of the matter is, you as a parent are there to guide your children safely, morally, ethically. That's what you're supposed to do. And if you identify that maybe your child is having maybe some identity issues, whether it be identity themselves, maybe they have low self-esteem, then you guide them. You don't make the decision for them. If I would make a decision, I said, you know what? Right now, you're a boy. We're going to revisit this when you're 14 or 15. If you still feel the same when you're 15 or 16 and you're more than halfway through puberty, then let's do that. Let's go ahead and look forward to getting you to where you feel comfortable in your own skin. As I was doing my research, I found this one topic to this story that it just got underneath my skin. Why now, when the trans community are so adamant about their pronouns? It's just, they want to continue to call a cisgender, or I am a cis male. I don't like that terminology because for the longest time I've been a male, and tomorrow I'm going to be a male. Why would you call me a cis male? It's very, very judgmental to label people who call themselves straight. Now, for those who don't know what cis means, cis is denoting or relating to a molecular structure in which two particles of atoms or groups lie on the same side of a given plane in the molecule. And so now that we're called cis males, cis females, and I hate that. I hate it. And it's not fair because now, because I'm a cis male, if I speak out against transgender or even speak about something I may not like, I'm now potentially bordering hate. I'm potentially bordering hate speech, and which is not even cool. See, me being as a black man and someone come up to me and say, you know what, die, that's pretty much hate speech. Now, if someone said, you know what, my opinion is that you black folks probably need to get your act together, and this is why. Yeah, that might be borderline hate speech, but depending on why he's saying that, and then we have to have a conversation of where he came to the determination. You know, it still may end in the same result, me not liking you and you not liking me, but we had a conversation about it. Now, considering discrimination that trans people do go through, I find it kind of funny that I am now being called prejudiced if I don't want to date a transgender person. 2 Canadian researchers recently asked almost 1,000 cisgender folks if they would date a trans person in a new study. This was published in a journal of social and personal relationships. For the most part, they said no. Now, I had a conversation, it was a while back, but I had a conversation with a young lady who was gay. And she kind of hid it in the very beginning. I didn't know, but after I got to know her and we had many conversations, it very established that she was gay. She had no intentions of ever dating a man or being with a man. And so I felt pretty comfortable in sitting down because she knew who I was. She knew I wasn't one of those spiteful people, but there was a question that was burning inside me. So I said, why is it that I see gay women dating other gay women that look like men? And I'm like, isn't that kind of like the opposite? Don't you want to date someone that looks like you, soft, feminine? And she came out with the response that made the uttermost sense. No matter what she is wearing when we're out and about, no matter what she is wearing when I met her, when she takes off her clothes, at the end of the day, she's a woman. And she has women parts. Regardless of the side, she has women parts. And that's how I sit there and say to you, how can I be prejudicial against dating someone that's transgender, especially male to female, if you still retain the same parts that I do? Now, if I'm dating a transgender person who does not come out and say, hey, I'm transgendered, and they're a pre-op transgender, meaning that they have a lot of features of a feminine, they're taking the hormones. Aesthetically, you're looking at a woman, probably have breasts from the hormones they're taking from, the estrogen, but you take the pants off, they get the same thing. You just robbed me of my choice to date you as who you are. And this is where people say they feel like it's an uncomfortable situation, that they feel that they may be in danger. Yeah, potentially you can be in danger with some people because now they feel that their sexuality has been tested, and now that they've been with the person of the same sex, they're more likely to act in a violent manner. But bottom line is, and I know this to be so true, giving a certain situation by letting that person know that, hey, I'm transgendered, I'm male to female, I still have my male operating parts. Do you still want to go out with me? If they were saying respectively, I appreciate you coming at me that way, and no, I'm going to pass. But we all know it's not what people know, it's what they can prove. And I can pretty much guarantee a lot of people, just because they're curious, whether it be bi-curious or gay curious, however you want it, they're going to still continue on with that date. It's crazy or not crazy, hypocritical as it seems. I have seen so many times in the news where you have these lawyers and you have all these CEOs, you got all these people coming out against transgender and gay people, but they didn't get caught. They're debunked because they've had boyfriends. They've been with men. Now, is it a 50-50 chance? Probably. It probably is. But once again, it's about choice. It's about giving that person the opportunity to make their own decision. Is the key thing that I'm saying about the 7-year-old. It's giving that person the opportunity to make their own decision. Now, there are people in the transgender community who also feel that 7 years old children, because we are younger children, younger adolescents, their minds haven't made up. And there is such a thing, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, as people wanting to detransition. Up until my study, even I didn't know that there was a thing called detransitioning. And basically, some male to female want to detransition because they may want to have children, or maybe they realize, man, I'm just gay, but now they don't have a penis because it's been made into a vagina. And they regret that, and what that may lead to is suicide. And I think it's easier for a female to male to transition or detransition back because they just stop taking the testosterone, and going back to where they were, and decide maybe they just want to be a lesbian. They want to be gay, whatever the reason. They had the opportunity to undo the process that they began. But if you make a decision for a child at 7 and start giving them hormone blockers during pubescence, if that's what you want to call it, this is where boys become boys. Their voices drop. Their testicles drop. They're producing hella testosterone. This is how they're transitioning. But if you take that away, and there are studies that say, well, you can just stop it. You may stop it, but I think what you're also doing is creating a very smaller person of what it would take them to go back on some type of hormones or testosterone therapy just to get them back to what they should be, that they are at that time. They decide maybe they don't want to do this. So it's crazy. But the point I'm getting at is this. With the world the way we are, if we want to normalize something, they're just going to flood the media with it. All you're going to see is on TV. All you're going to see is on TV. So right now, what you see is you see a lot of gay couples on TV. That's because there's been so much in the press of negative about gays and how they've been treated. For example, HGTV, I think they have like island hoppers or island hunters or house hunters. And you see a lot of male-male relationships. So that is how we normalize it. by constantly showing. They have not moved to the point of showing transgender as of yet. There are a few transgender roles that are fully accepted. And like I said, we are more accepting now than we have been in the past. And like I said, this is not anything about, I'm all against transgender people. Not at all. What I'm against is taking the choice away from people, children especially, in transitioning. And if you have transitioned, taking the choice away from just letting them know whether, hey, I want to date you. Because let's be real, a woman can get good D anywhere. Okay, you don't fall in love with the part, you fall in love with the person. So if by chance you fall in love with a male to female transitioned or transgender person, you're falling in love with that person. Okay, it doesn't make you gay. It just makes that you're falling in love with that person that happens to look like a female. That's just my opinion. And if she looks like a female, you'll have to deal with whether she's post or pre-op. That's something you'll have to mentally deal with. Some people do it, some people don't. Some people try to stay in a closet. It is what it is. And I'll end this with a story. And this story happened, and I did this story a long time ago in one of my I won't call it a podcast. It was one of my YouTube videos. And I was in Germany, and we had just arrived to Germany, and we were in Garmisch, and we're out on vacation, so to speak. It was like a 3-day vacation. And we went to this club called A Surprise. So we're in the club, so as Americans are, we're bully. We're arrogant. We're like, yeah, we're here, blah, blah, blah. Plus, when we're young, we're in our 20s. So we were raising the roof. We were on point for the nation. Well, me and my homie, we're sitting there, and we're chilling. We're chilling, and this little lady comes up and says, hey, your friend's over there talking to a man. And we looked, and we saw him talking to a female. That's what we saw. I said, no, that's a female. I said, no, that's a man. And we both looked at each other like, oh, man, let's just sit back and watch what happens, because we're still somewhat immature. We're young male adults. But me, I said, you know what? Let's not, because if this dude finds out that he's with another man, he might actually lose his mind. Went over there. I said, hey, bro, this is the guy. And he was already, he was a white guy. He was pale white, but he went ghost white. He was like, what? Yeah, man, the guy. He's like, no. She said that this is the guy. And, he was in denial for a couple minutes, man, because he'd been kissing him. He was tonguing him down. So I think he was like, ah. So anyway, he goes back over there and he says, what's your name? And then that person said, like, Cheryl or something like that. What is your name? And you see him asking. He, like, said again, like, my name's Cheryl. And he snatched that transgender person up, snatched him up. Said, what is your name? And was like, and dude is like, ah. And in which we made him hastily exit. So yeah, that person may not meant to cause what happened. And once again, that could have been a dangerous situation, but he wasn't given the opportunity to make that decision himself. So that's all I'm saying. It's not necessarily about you being a transgender person. Hey, if you're a transgender, rock on. I can care less. I really can care less. I can hang out with a transgender person, male or female. I've actually, when I was in Korea, I did. It was a female to male. She looked like a dude. So, we were out buying jerseys. Cool. I got no problem with that. Just like I have no problem with hanging out with people that are gay, because the fact of the matter is, and I hate to tell you this, guys, as a crushing blow to you, just because you're gay don't mean every gay guy wants you. Okay, bottom line. If you're ugly to women, you're probably ugly to dudes too. Just saying. But with that being said, this is Brian Matthews. This is Psychologics, and hey, if you like this podcast, please feel free to subscribe, share it if you think it was very entertaining, and once again, like and follow me. Follow the brother. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, because this is where it's going to be posted along with 7 other podcast sites. But until then, until our next podcast, y'all stay blessed, stay safe, and y'all have a great week. The revolution will be live.